2018 Ford Shelby GT350. 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 review on. The 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 might look like a pumped-up Mustang, but it's so much more than that. This is likely the only year you'll be able to argue that the Ford Shelby GT350 is inferior to the regular Mustang. While the standard Mustang that it's based on gets a significant update this year that includes new styling and features, the GT350 stays the same. Luckily for us, we like the Shelby GT350 just the way it is. The GT350 is a muscle car for the track day obsessed. Yes, it shares some looks and interior parts with the standard Mustang, but the key differences are hidden from view. Under the hood is a non-turbocharged 5.2-liter V8. It revs up to 8,200 revolutions per minute, punches out 526 horsepower, and even has a flat plane crankshaft that lends a distinctive warble to the engine sound. From there, the GT350 has a race-attuned adaptive suspension, high-performance brakes, and all sorts of supportive powertrain upgrades that set it apart. It laid down thick stripes of rubber in a straight line, naturally, but the GT350 is most at home around a complicated racetrack or a winding mountain road. Despite its focus on performance, the GT350 is comfortable and relatively quiet when your right foot isn't planted on the floor, and it could easily serve as a daily driver. Well-rounded and massively entertaining, the GT350 is definitely our idea of the ultimate Mustang. What's new? While the standard 2018 Mustang gets a variety of updates including refreshed front and rear styling, the 2018 Shelby GT350 is unchanged. Our recommendation for the Shelby GT350 is to get the base model. Just make sure to get the optional electronics package. The standard GT350 standard infotainment system is pretty underwhelming, but getting that package replaces it with a few key upgrades that include an 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a 9-speaker sound system with satellite radio. Trim levels and features. The 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 is a high-performance version of the Mustang Coupe. There are two trim levels, the base GT350 and the race-focused GT350R. Essentially, the GT350 is the track-day version of a Mustang and, as such, it has many performance features that you won't see on a standard rental Mustang. Standard equipment for the base GT350 includes a 5.2-liter V8 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque, a 6-speed manual transmission, 19-inch wheels, adaptive suspension dampers and heavy-duty springs, Brembo brakes, a torsion rear differential with 3.73 gearing, a front suspension tower brace, 3 powered rain coolers oil, differential and transmission, adjustable drive settings, xenon headlights, a rear spoiler and diffuser, and keyless ignition and entry. Inside, you'll find manually adjustable Recaro front seats with simulated suede inserts, a tilt and telescoping steering column, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, Bluetooth, a 4.2-inch center display, track apps performance telemetry, a rear-view camera, phone and audio voice command sync, smartphone app integration, and a 6-speaker sound system with 2 USB ports. Opting for the electronics package equips the GT350 with dual-zone automatic climate control, an 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3 with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, a navigation system, and a 9-speaker audio system with satellite radio. The convenience package adds leather upholstery, driver seat memory settings, 6-way power-adjustable sport front seats with power lumbar for the driver, and heating and ventilation for the front seats. The GT350R gets most of the GT350's standard equipment, plus 19-inch carbon fiber wheels with special Michelin tires, revised suspension tuning and aerodynamic body enhancements, front chin splitter and carbon fiber rear wing, most notably. The GT350R comes without the air conditioning, sound system, floor mats, rear seat, rear view camera, sync system and tire inflation kit. To get those features back, Ford offers the Rail Electronics package, which puts almost all of it back in the car along with the dual-zone climate control, 9-speaker sound system, and the previously mentioned 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3. Trim tested. Each vehicle typically comes in multiple versions that are fundamentally similar. The S in this review are based on our full test of the 2016 Ford Shelby GT350 5.2 liters V8, 6-speed manual, RWD. Note: since this test was conducted, the current Ford Shelby GT350 has received only minor revisions such as the addition of the track suspension as standard equipment or test car was equipped with that option and the introduction of some additional available options. Our findings remain applicable to this year's Ford Shelby GT350. Driving. Ford has every right to be proud of this car. It's well-rounded, well-mannered and well-equipped enough to handle most anything you want it to. It's arguably the best Mustang ever built, from the motor to the handling to the sheer thrill it gives drivers. Acceleration. This engine is impressively flexible. It may feel a bit soft under 3,500 revolutions per minute, but it never stumbles and is happy to be driven casually. Once you let it rip, there's nothing else like it. The power is astonishing. Addicting. And that sound. Braking. The pedal is a bit firm and does require some effort. But these are extremely capable brakes that are easy to modulate around town. Challenging roads didn't induce any fade. Bonus: they've got massive visual appeal when parked. Steering. It's accurate and responsive but largely devoid of feel. There are 3 selectable modes: Comfort, Normal and Sport, but the differences are minimal. The steering wheel feels very good in your hands, and the buttons do not get in the way. Handling. Good, predictable grip but not as aggressive as you might expect. Well-mannered on all sorts of pavement. Superior turn-in is likely a consequence of the GT350's unique tires and alignment because it has the same steering rack as the GT. Drivability. Tricky clutch take-up, but as with the brakes, you quickly get used to it. The engine is happy to lope through traffic and never feels high-strung or finicky. The gears are well stacked, but the plasticky shift action could be better. Comfort. Just as impressive as the 5.2-liter V8 are the comfort and level of refinement of the GT350. Over a variety of road surfaces, the Shelby remains composed and predictable and gives the driver plenty of confidence. The car is well within its rights to be a lot worse and still get away with it. Seat comfort. Though the seats look similar to the Recars available in the GT, the bolsters are shaped differently and don't interfere with gear selection as they can in the regular Mustang. The seats are very supportive and quite comfortable over long distances. Ride comfort. If the engine wasn't so amazing, the adaptive suspension would steal the show. It's surprisingly comfortable given the car's performance focus. Normal and Sport modes are suitable for just about any road condition. Body control is excellent. Even track mode isn't punishing. Noise and vibration. The cabin is surprisingly quiet, especially for a car with frameless windows and aggressive tires. In the default exhaust mode, the V8 keeps to itself, with only a hint of resonance around 1,800 revolutions per minute. No buzzes or rattles. Climate control. The single-zone climate control system is shared with the standard Mustang. It's straightforward and efficient and keeps up even when you're driving hard. Interior. Thankfully the GT350 doesn't deviate too much from the standard Mustang's interior layout. Though some shortcomings remain, the Recaro seats, straightforward instrumentation and simulated sweet-accented steering wheel help keep the interior from getting in the way of a good time. Ease of use. Most controls are familiar Mustang pieces, but the base radio and media interface is incongruously low-buck. It's a nod to austerity. The larger touchscreen is optional, but with too many buttons, some of them unlabeled, it's the low point of the interior. Getting in, jetting out. As aggressive and supportive as the Recaro seats are, they are relatively easy to get in and out of. The long doors can make it easy but can also be a hassle in a confined space. Access to the rear seat is laughable, as is the legroom. Driving position. The manually adjustable Recars are superb and offer more than adequate support for most people. The steering wheel position and spoke layout are excellent. It's comfortable and easy to drive in a relaxed or regressive manner. Roominess. Interior space has not been compromised in the name of performance. There's adequate headroom and shoulder room for 2 adults, but some might find the center console a bit intrusive. The rear seats should be considered as storage. Visibility. Aided by a lower profile hood, the GT350 has decent outward visibility, especially for the segment. The rear quarter windows are appreciated even though they are small. The tiny rear view camera display is disappointing. Quality. With the exception of the base multimedia interface, fit and finish is fairly good. Cheap filling plastics can be found, but most of the control surfaces feel appropriate, the shift knob being the only real exception. No squeaks or rattles. Utility. No one's going to buy a GT350 based on its ability to carry lumber and big gulps, but the Shelby retains every bit of a standard Mustang's practicality. You might have to declutter to find room for your personal effects, but the usable trunk makes the GT350 an everyday driver proposition. Small item storage. There's not a ton of space for small items outside of the center console and cup holders. The door pockets are on the small and shallow side. Cargo space. Even with the slightly high liftover, both trunk access and cargo space are decent for the class. And the GT350 retained split and folding rear seatbacks, which give it even more flexibility and practicality. Technology. Multimedia and integrated technology were never the highest priorities of the GT350. Our car's lackluster performance in this area can be cured by adding the electronic package. Audio and navigation. This GT350 came with the base audio system, which lacks navigation and the 8-inch LCD touchscreen. Though the sound quality is adequate, this base system looks slow-rent, especially in a vehicle of this price. Smartphone integration. Phone integration is fairly straightforward with both Apple and Android phones, but nothing special. The optional electronic package would make technology integration easier and involve less guesswork.